But I would say that at the very top of that pyramid is Omarosa.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Know It Alls podcast with your favorite pop culture nerds. I am Ayanda Charlie.
I am Fezim 20.
And we're so happy to be back to you, my love. You 28 subscribers. And roughly 160 viewers.
Yes. You know what it is. Jesus rose, and so did our subscribers.
And
I am thrilled.
on that word,
he is risen.
he is risen. Let's get into it.
Oh, just in case this is the first time you are seeing our lovely faces, we go by the term popular culture nerds.
Yes.
And this is a popular culture podcast, which you should subscribe to if you haven't already, or follow on Spotify.
Yes.
And listen to whilst you're doing your hot girl walk or whatever it is that the queens do these days.
Wow.
We'd love to have you. And please comment.
Please comment, guys. We see you're there, but we don't hear you.
Yeah.
And that makes us feel lonely.
Yeah, very lonely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
One of the main things we're doing.
Tell us what we're doing today.
Hey, as per usual, we are in season for Real Housewives of Durban. So weekly we recap those. So without any further ado, let's talk about that cooking class. Is that okay?
The cooking class. Are we just going to jump straight into the cooking class?
What happened before the cooking class?
I want to talk about. Okay. So it's the day after the last episode.
We are
you
still
just
in
watched.
Drakens.
We're still in Drakensberg. And the fight has happened.
The dinner party, well, the almost fight has happened. Are we really calling that thing a fight? It was like
The scuffle.
the scuffle.
The scuffle has happened. Then we have Maria on the phone.
I skipped that scene, so
Okay.
enjoy the podcast.
Okay, while calling her husband. And I just
No,
wanna...
she first said she was calling her monkey baby, her son.
No, that's later, before she speaks to Angel.
Oh, Maria does show up in the beginning. I skipped that. That's the
Yes.
one I skipped because she was crying.
Yes, because she's now like talking to
her.
this man.
Yes. And why isn't it her husband?
Exactly is
I'm
the
so
first thing.
sick.
That's my thing. And also I just want to add, I think in the world we've addressed this, but I don't know if we've addressed this on the
In this
pod.
room, okay?
Okay. What's going on with rich women having queer men as accessories?
Oh, yes.
Like, when did we think that... Okay, look, there was a moment in the 90s, and the popular culture girls were the reason, not these popular culture girls, but the popular culture girls in general were the reason why this was happening. Mm-hmm. But it's played out.
Mm. I don't know if you're paying attention to the generation we're talking about here. It's still the same girls.
Got you.
It's still the elder millennials slash Gen X. Is that our parents are Gen X, right?
I don't know.
Something like that.
I just know who I am.
I just read my lines.
I'm not trying to do anything else here today.
So it's those same girls. I mean, I look at the attitudes around just the whole community when it comes to housewives and the median age of a real housewife these days. It's those girls, and for them, and it's in the gays that they have around that age as well. So I think
did no one address then that this wasn't cool anymore? Did
it
no
was
one say,
addressed.
Hey.
Well, here's my thing, and I think I was listening actually to Laverne Cox's interview on the Call Her Daddy web podcast today, and Laverne makes a really good point around words like cunt and pussy being like affirmative words now and like being more mainstream. She thanks Beyonce for like bringing them further into the mainstream, but then she also says that's just testament to the kinds of allyship that the LGBTQ community can have with cis women or just like cis people, like the kinds of language that they make available to us to affirm the feminine, which is not typical in patriarchal society, right? So Laverne makes that point, which it left me thinking about what that allyship looks like between gay men and straight women.
Got you.
And so there's a history there of just like them being bosom buddies, or maybe something. There's a mutuality there, right, in the kinds of relationships that they can have.
That they can have.
That they can have.
Yes, but not necessarily have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think what that allowed me to do was to complicate the same way we date men. Who think many different things about us, right? Like we can have complicated relationships where men see us on an individual level as like, you know, worthy of partnering or loving. But then they also have these misogynist, patriarchal ideas that they hold, whether knowingly or unknowingly, that, you know, inform how they treat and speak to us. So when I look at those relationships, because I've followed a lot of storylines like that. I think Nini's
fashion show without fashions.
No, before that, her house.
But sorry, one more time.
Dwight
gave me the most important line
of Real Housewives.
Real Housewives of Durban. A fashion show without fashions. How dreadful.
With the worst hairstyle. The dreadful hairstyle. But years later, Nini would throw a party going, what's it called? The all white something soiree. You'd wish you came to my house, something. But a big part of the theme of that house party was bring your gay best friend. It's going to be the girls and the gays. And then Miss J, or is it Miss Lawrence, comes through the short hairdresser.
Yes.
She says, Nini, I came, but I wanted to talk to you and tell you we're not just accessories. Like, we're not handbags you bring to things. So I think it's an ongoing conversation, but it is one that on a one-on-one level, I think is difficult to tackle because there's also like this emotional closeness that they have. The same way it's hard to call out your mom sometimes.
I get that
specifically,
but it's also it's specifically the Durban girls that are obsessed with the gay best friend trope.
The Durban girls in the franchise,
in terms of Real Housewives in South Africa. The others, like, there's a hint or two, but it's not really part of their thing.
Do you think that there's a Durbanness to that?
No, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not an anthropologist, as was made clear the last time. I'm not an anthropologist of Durban.
Because, the phenomena you assign to Durban.
But I think there's something.
The girls didn't get the memo or something?
The girls didn't get the memo. I think it's absolutely important for us to have relationships across our different sexualities, but there is a way in which these women invoke the husband.
Yes.
As an accessory and not as an individual requiring respect, requiring capacity to be in this group. I
think the class element is so important there as well. Yeah. Like, these men are friends with these rich women. And look, I don't know the full inner workings of those relationships, but the power dynamic is already kind of established. I pay for things, you come along, you come cute.
And we see that a lot with Jojo and Rowan.
So much.
I mean,
so I think I'm not excusing it, no, but I'm saying that's also something to consider because that is the common denominator with these Durban girls. Yeah.
I only bring it up because in the fights it becomes a talking point for Sarisha, and I'm just like, sweetie, what?
And now let's take our time.
Amy, it was
anyway. So many that. Whew. That dinner scene missed, like,
Okay, so then we have the most unserious cooking class in the history of the universe.
In the history of the universe, where the chef is teaching herself to cook.
And Maria's like, I guess someone's going to make it for me at some point.
Maria was funny, though, when she said, I thought I'd take a cooking class to see what others go through. And I think she's good with those lines, and I wonder if they're rehearsed. She feels rehearsed to me.
Yeah.
But they're still good.
Which makes the difference between her and Ayanda. Like, Ayanda, you can tell it's from her spirit at the time. There's an intervention that happens with Kongo, with Ayanda from season 1, with, what's our queen now? What's her name?
Nongu, Mabusi, Jojo.
No. It's not those girls. My favorite villain.
She's still in.
No, this season. Why have I... Zuma. Why would I forget my queen? Oh my God, Fizzy. So, there's something innate there.
There's a talent there.
Gift
of gab.
Guys, let's talk about... No one talks about the fact that, in order to give a diary, that is a skill set in and of itself. A diary is such a foundational part of the reality TV trope.
Yes.
Not trope, rather, but of the format. Of the format.
Yeah.
Right?
It is.
So
Which makes
important.
me wonder, how rigorous are the screenings to become a housewife these days, locally?
Yes. Nobody works these days. That's what I can say.
Nobody wants to come to work. Because I'm like, even the scenes themselves, the family scenes, like whenever we're introducing a housewife, even back to season 1,
Yeah.
like it was very rushed. You could tell that we did one shoot that was supposed to be the audition tape and the pilot.
Yeah.
So there's not enough meat on a family front for us to keep coming back to.
Yeah.
But I'll get back to my point about the kind of scenes we get.
Okay. So we have this unserious cooking situation, and what are we discussing? I think it's
The day before, they're discussing Angel again, they were kind of going through. That's another thing that I don't like. Like they go through. You can tell what list of points the producers gave them to touch on.
Yeah.
They don't know how to have those organic.
Yeah.
What happened last night, and
Yeah.
I suspect it's because the producers are filming with them so late in the day that they probably have already had these
Exactly.
conversations, and we're not
Exactly.
getting like the organic first response. I'm so mad.
And then opposite to that is this kayaking session
Yes.
with Amy, Sarisha, Slee, and
You're Amy.
you.
I was gonna say Amy and
You?
Slee. That's me. Amy, Slee, Sarisha, Angel.
Yeah. And that's shame. Angel, you can tell, is a little bit rattled. You know, she's
She
like
is.
quieter. She's professing that she's gonna go on her apology tour. She's just not having a good time.
Yeah,
she's like very clearly not having a good time. You can tell that the producer was like, "Hey, sweetie,
Get it together.
you need to get. You signed up for this." And so in a way, when Maria's like, "You're welcome to leave," she's like, "Thanks."
Yes,
Love
because
that.
I already did not know, and I wanna talk about that. Because with Slee, who's supposed to be her main ally, Slee is I like that she holds her accountable. She kind of tells her like it is, but Slee is also someone who feels to me like she's Angel has one strike. and it's
Exactly.
over.
And then it's over. And then
Yeah.
she will not leave you in the desert with a puddle of water.
Yes.
And I was just like, Queen.
Yeah.
Especially and also because you hear Angel refer to her as Usisomdala. So there is,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it's authentic or not, but
It's Portia and Nini authentic.
yes.
However authentic they
Exactly.
are.
And so I think shame. Angel's feeling very vulnerable in this part.
She is. And I don't think she thinks of Sarisha as enough of an ally because maybe Sarisha wasn't there.
Yeah, but I also think Sarisha's like flirtiness
Yes,
is
yeah.
a bit. Anyway, so it just feels like my queen has no allies. Is
And
beaten
she's saying
down.
she's going to respond to apologize to Mariah. Ne?
to Maria.
Maria?
My queen Mariah Carey hasn't made it on this season. Okay, we need to check that with those producers. But what we have is Maria. Yes.
It's too late, man. Yes, she wants to apologize to Maria.
Yeah.
Which was an interesting moment for me because it got me to understand what the kind of conflict diagram is right now.
Okay.
What do we have right now? We've got Angel at odds with Maria. And then we have Slee
At odds. That's what we have.
At odds.
At odds. Yes.
And then we have Sarisha at odds with
Zama.
Zama and Maria.
I didn't even the Slee Zama moment for me. I
don't remember it either.
It's because I had forgotten and because it was such a non-event.
Well, yes. But because they're doing that thing of falling into groups,
I don't like it.
which is, it's so easy to do. It's second nature, right? Like that's what you do in real life. You just go, well, we don't really mess with those girls. But now you're at work and your job is to be friends.
I don't like
so
it.
That's why we can't keep up with conflicts because conflicts aren't going the organic kind of way.
Exactly.
They're just getting much more, what is that word, rooted in
foolishness.
factions and
Yeah.
foolishness
Yeah.
as opposed to being wrapped up and we move on to real
Yes,
conflicts.
yes.
Like everyone's like, well then I'm going to stand 10
Exactly.
toes down about my WhatsApp call to you because I also need to stay at odds with you to be,
I'm just like, yeah.
anyways.
Okay,
so
we'll keep
yeah, so I'm
jumping.
trying to, okay. And then Amy, who's Amy at odds with?
Amy's at odds with Zama
Zama alone?
because of the 40th birthday.
Yes. Which she needs to let that go too.
She does.
So then,
And it's
but
weird
she
because
refuses
it's-
to apologize. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, but also, yeah.
Or hash it out or whatever.
And the fact
whatever.
that Zama keeps calling people bandintis.
Yes.
But
But I was like, does Amy actually have
a criminal record?
Yeah.
I think she might have. No, actually, I don't know.
Because-
I don't know.
because I don't Google ish after watching an episode. I'm not trying to follow all of that blog
I don't
stuff.
know. You know why?
Why?
Because we are interested in the characters that have been given
Thank
to
you.
us.
I don't need
As we
exactly.
say over and over again on this podcast.
Who are you in the story?
Who are you in the story?
Yeah.
We just like a character development. Yeah.
Okay, Bandindi. Okay, cool. So then we established the lines of battle there. Next scene is Sarisha going to Jojo, right? On behalf of
Mabusi. I think it's played out.
Like an
I
A-track.
don't know why you're doing this redemption arc for Mabusi. Like, all she needs to do is be Pontius Pilate, wash her hands.
She really does. She really does. Well, you better be apropos.
Let me tell you something. Okay, my lord has risen. I don't know about yours.
It's okay. Okay,
We'll be back here next week.
So she's. I shudder to think what we'll have from you around June 16, Youth Month. I don't know what we're gonna get from you. It's gonna be like ShopRite checkers marketing.
Exactly.
It's our birthday.
It's our birthday.
But okay, yes. So Mabusi is saying to Jojo, and I, to be fair, when Jojo in the confessional was like, I don't know if Sarisha is here for me or Mabusi.
Yeah, she's right.
Now Jojo's milking that cat, but Sarisha's also being. She doesn't even try at this point, and that upsets me. So she doesn't even try.
What do you mean?
To be convincing. Like she's
About?
so clearly just moving, get convenience.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And also, there's a part of me that feels like, what is she gaining from
Yeah.
this thing with
Campaigning.
Mabusi?
Yeah.
Also, just because I feel like this healing, like messaging
Yes,
that we're
yes.
going with is played out, and it's also a form of gaslighting at this point.
It is.
Because you yourself are the person who's orchestrating woman-on-woman violence. You are enabling women's rights and wrongs, and you keep being like, no girls, we need to
come
heal.
together.
We need to heal.
She needs to also pick a
No.
side because, and we'll get to this, but I didn't like, well, not I didn't like, but at the end of the dinner scene when she's like, I'm tired of people saying they're disappointed with me as because I'm supposed to hear things and say nothing. It's like, you're not, but you are supposed to pick it, to decide who
Yeah.
you are. You
Yeah.
can't simultaneously be in the mud and also above the mud.
Also, she positioned herself for a long time
As above it.
as above it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So what?
that waist is snatched though, but like in a medically concerning way.
Who?
I'm like, how are your organs doing? Usarisha in the black and white.
but she is looking good though.
She is, but I was like, how is she? Where is the?
Yeah, no, but
coming
I'm
from?
everything for
You
a
said
look.
for the booty.
Okay, Kim said it first. Okay, Kim Kardashian said that first, sweetie.
Kim Kardashian said she would eat poop to stay beautiful.
My queen knows what's up. She knows what we want.
Okay, should we go straight to? Oh yeah,
Wait.
justice for Archie.
Before we go there,
Okay.
there's a moment where Amy and Nonku have a chat in Nonku's room, and she plays her various footage. And producers, I'm talking to you.
Yes.
Do not add
Okay.
in things that don't have any narrative value.
Okay, thank you.
Because also the thing about reality television is that narratively it needs to cohere. And so when we
And
just
build
have-
to something.
And build to something, right? So that at the reunion, the person can go, these are the touch points
Yes.
for the season, and it is so
Yeah.
important for us to work through those.
And so we're not left with people referencing things at the reunion that the audience isn't privy to.
Exactly.
Because Slee even said, and I think they've normalized it even in scene, because Slee, in a scene that makes sense for the story, brings up things that aren't in the story, i.e., we have mutual friends that tell me things about RD and Nonku that I'm not going to say here. And
Yeah.
also the word privy, let's ban
Yeah.
it, because you girls are abusing it. And if you're going to be privy, bring up being privy in order to make us privy.
Yeah. Also, I think this is the interesting phenomenon about this particular type of reality show. Ayanda and I were talking about this off camera. Is that South Africa doesn't necessarily have like a blog culture, and I'm not.
That's not a
advocating.
judgment.
No. I'm not advocating for one. I'm not. No. Okay. Isolezwe has got their hands full. Okay. I'm not advocating for one, but because we don't have a blog culture, right? We don't get what's happening in the background
Yes.
of these women's lives.
Yeah.
So it gives an even more bigger narrative burden to the producers.
Yes, it does.
To tell the story that matters.
Yes.
by the way, sort of, maybe, that doesn't work. And I mean, the girls will cite social media all the time, but it doesn't work in this universe of reality housewives in the same way that the blogs do in the States. Once again, not an advert for blogs.
Not a post.
I'm not going to be like, and my latest post is... No,
we're not doing
blogs
that.
are us is not something that I'm advocating for, but I am just saying that, like, so in that sense, we are a little bit removed from the conversations that are happening outside of the frame. And so if you are going to speak about something outside, then bring it.
You have to, and it's a producer's job to make you, or decide it doesn't make the cut, right? I actually think we should have been long freed from is Angel telling the truth or not, because the producer's job would have been to follow up on all the, or even if they're not there to verify certain claims Angel makes, let's just maybe get a diagram in where we're keeping up with Angel's claims and whether they align. That's fun. That's really playing up. Oh, Angel is a liar, and then Angel again can go, no, I'm fighting against that at the reunion or next season. We're not doing anything more than just pressing record so late in the day and taking it to edit with the same format and then putting it out.
And you can tell the girls are tired of having the same chats.
They are. But there's no one there to free them. Luckily, Jesus died so that...
so we can start this again. But I think we need to have Sarisha critique, think through, work on this healing journey.
Yeah. And is she still on one, yeah?
No, I mean, she just launched some product that's healing type, right? So I know that's her brand as a person, but she can also have a particular persona on this show. Like, people are smart enough to know that
that this is a thing that you do.
Yeah.
I also don't like that we only use people's businesses, especially when they are brick and mortar, just to get like a little vignette of a scene or just quick product placement. Why aren't we? I think about how Lisa Vanderpump's restaurant was like kind of like a supporting character in that franchise. Yes, the byproduct of that is that your business is being promoted, which is why these women are here.
Here in the first place.
So why resist that when it actually adds to what you can do? You can really build a universe here. And I feel like that's what we're missing with whoever is making this show. I don't know on a personal note, but I'm talking again about like what I see from the production. I don't know what the producers do in their off time or what their intentions were or what they put in their diaries or said at dinner. I'm talking about what I'm piecing together from the show. And from the show, it looks to me like the people who are making this show have no regard for the wider universe in which the Real Housewives franchise exists.
Exactly.
And there's the kind of pitfall that this is in South Africa. These shows aren't coming from the same network like they do in America. Like, they come from Bravo, and so Bravo has an identity and like a stamp on them that can guide you. But then nothing's stopping you from being, having a little kind of identity of your own as a production company. Like, 100%. That makes your franchise distinct.
100%. Yeah.
We're just...
I mean, they tried in season 1 when they had us talk about Nonku's wines and the failure
they did. We were doing so well there.
Yes. I think it's got to be wines. Or am I thinking of another?
That was then, and then at the end, when Nonku's very good at like...
Yeah, so she's able
circling
to
back.
Do that a little bit. But I think it's really important for us to do that because, I mean, in Real Housewives of Atlanta, we have Kenya's whole story arc at some point is whether her hair is real or not.
Yes.
And that makes her, gives her the opportunity to then brand herself as the real hair girl.
Thank you. And we're not spending enough time on petty drama. That was petty drama, the hair stuff.
Exactly. And also, we don't need to exacerbate things that are silly, right?
Yes.
And I think sometimes South Africa, then does too much of a serious thing for something we all in the room can tell is not legitimate.
Yeah.
And then doesn't go on set when the real, juicy things are happening. Yeah. So... Yeah.
There's also just too many cast members. I think that also clutters. The employment rate is high. But it means that we then are forced to watch a succession of group scenes.
Yeah.
That are about rehashing the last group scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm tired of that.
Yeah.
I want to take a beat, go and Nongu's the only one who actually gives us at-home scenes.
Yeah,
really.
she gives us family. She gives
Sister,
us
mom.
She gives us therapists.
Yes.
She gives us spiritual advisor.
Yes.
Oh, she's got range.
You know?
Nongu,
And she gave
one
us
thing
a
about
gift in the
Nongu is
beginning.
that she watched.
Yes, exactly.
She said, "What am I auditioning to be part
Yes.
of? What have I submitted my CV to? And how is it going to work for me in very
Exactly.
particular ways?" And yeah,
It did.
Yeah, I think she's gotten clearer about that. And the other woman, I guess Anne was also quite good at like.
Who's Anne again?
Annie. You know.
I was like, Hathaway?
Not Anne Hathaway. But
Anne, yes,
Annie was quite
giving
good,
us,
and
yeah.
she would always locate things at her place of employment.
Yes. Very true.
Yes.
Very true.
Yeah.
Oh, we're losing recipes.
We are losing recipes. What do we feel about Slee invoking RD? Just quickly, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Give it to me.
Yes. Tell me why.
Because I think for me, the Slee's opening line, which was, "What happened to RD? Like, what happened?" That's the justice I want. What did happen to him?
Because she is right. She was
burned at the stake.
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry, just to be. I don't know what I just did.
Sorry, it just seems inappropriate. This.
Insensitive.
Yeah.
That families.
Yeah.
Just lost a son.
Yeah.
And got him back again. But yes, she said, "What happened to that? Are we just gonna act like that didn't happen?" And I think that's part of the goal of the alliance Kanungu no Jojo is to out talk and what is it? Dominate the conversation such that people don't get to the crux of Nonku's dubious ways or Jojo's whatever you want to call it. Like, it's there to silence people, and I can't take it seriously beyond that. It's an alliance.
Joku just seems to me the most consistent thing.
I won't legitimize them by saying it's
You're not
Jojo
gonna give them
and
their
Nonku.
name. Joku seemed to be the most like consistent thing that I can hold on to this season,
Which is unfortunate.
because it's just a very
It's a wish-wash,
It's
yeah.
a wish-wash of a season.
Should we then get to the dinner scene? Because
Okay, yes, let's go.
Yes.
Let's go.
So, the first thing on the table, Mons, is...
Tada! Look at that pun.
Oh, yes, because it's a dinner table. So, at the supper...
The last supper.
of Drakensberg. The first thing is that Angel is not here.
Okay.
That's the first
Yes.
talking point. Angel is not here.
Judas. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Sorry.
I love it. Angel's not here. Why is she not here? She felt like she wasn't welcomed by Maria. Fair. Maria basically, in exactly that many words, said, "Go home."
Yeah, she did.
Unless you want to call a
And
friend.
then she's like, unless you have any little friends
Around. She said, "You have a right to associate." I don't understand why Angel didn't come to dinner though, just because Maria doesn't want her there. Because if you're there with Surisha, and Surisha's saying, "I'm here, I'm
okay,
alive,
doll."
I'm awake, I'm enthusiastic."
Yeah.
Why don't I think, you know what? To be fair, Angel gave so much on this trip, right or wrong. I think she was just actually exhausted.
Yeah.
I've answered my own question.
Yeah, there we go. Got to it.
Yes, baby, sound it out.
Yeah, I'm okay with Angel not being there. I think though, because Angel's not there, we don't have a place to centralize the drama.
Yes.
And so then the girls start arguing about dresses.
Yes. Well, no, they start arguing about who's talking to who.
Sure, no, I know. But then
The biggest thing, yes.
so what I'm
Sarisha
saying
thought
is,
she caught.
and then Sarisha's like, you know, I'm gonna get y'all.
That was so not a gag. That
I
was
like,
so not a
yeah, I
gag.
heard you talking about dresses. And then she was like, no, we were
Pearls.
actually talking about dresses.
The pearls.
The pearls.
Oh, and I hate that we still don't get justice
Yeah.
for that moment. We don't know what really was said.
Yeah.
What was that annoys me, guys. I producers, call me back.
Have you been on the line?
I've been. Just call me back. This is not going to be enough for the answering machine. We need a... Because I can understand or imagine the kind of resource limitations, at play here when it comes to, can we set up a camera at every, possible point?
Sure. But then in the post edit,
What
Yes.
do? We do we do a green screen.
We do a green screen.
add that in
We have
post.
some dinosaurs coming down. The Lord rising.
You know
what I'm saying?
How can we let's get something.
Yes.
And like
We need to
maybe
figure it out.
if we're not gonna have supporting documents, let's not park at every possible signpost. We don't have to then follow every little thing about the dress was that, the dress was that. My question, two things, the two newbies. Zama, who told you you are now at a place where you can walk out of a scene? That's insane.
Are you mad?
Because now you're suddenly smarter than everyone. You're not. You're on this show. You're not above this show.
Sorry, can I just say, Slee saying that Zama has no fashion sense is such a ludicrous statement.
It was not true. Zama's not the most fashionable girl, but she's not.
But she's not unfashionable.
Yes, and she doesn't dresses better than Slee sometimes.
Sometimes, except for when she wore sneakers to cowboy party.
Yes.
Because that's when I was like, Zama Queen, you needed to read the room.
Yeah, she didn't do that well.
But that was ludicrous. But anyway, yes.
You walking out of a scene, insane. Aren't you? You're still on probation at the workplace.
Exactly.
Amy, another thing that screams newbie, you can't let this beef go and you don't know when to bring it up.
Exactly.
So, okay, you're not going to let it go. Let's be artful about when we bring it up. Don't just...
Yeah.
It was giving pigeons going at one another in that scene.
And then Amy condemns violence.
We didn't have strong enough mics to isolate who was saying what to who and which conversation we were following. The captions couldn't keep up.
Yeah. No, that's what happened. What's also interesting to me is that Amy condemns violence like maybe 2 minutes before. Yes. And then she's like, I'm gonna get you, girl.
She doesn't know what she's doing.
Yeah, it's just giving, like, I don't know. And sometimes girls, queens, lovers, friends. My position is that violence is wrong.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
And this should be all of our positions.
Like physical actual violence.
Physical actual violence.
Yeah.
What I am interested, though, is the gift of the gab, right? And I feel like the queens...
And the gift of the gab is not, let me gag you with your most salacious blog story.
Yes. Real Housewives of Cape Town.
No.
Take a hint.
Baby steps.
Real Housewives of Durban. I think gift of the gab is such an important part. We need to bring people like Nene Leakes into the universe because they are able to do the thing of making it ridiculous and funny, giving it a bit of a payoff.
Yes.
Moving popular culture along. So we have something else to say at the next brunch with our friends. And moving the story along. I feel like the girls that just resort to violence aren't, just aren't the girls.
They aren't the girls. And even the girls who don't... Okay, so let's pretend Amy wasn't, resorting to violence as immediately as she was.
Yeah.
Let's just maybe say she even just had gags. What she thinks are gags. Like if she just had her mouth. Even her mouth is not giving.
Yeah.
Amy... When I listen to what actually is coming out of Amy's mouth, it's all VH1 things.
Yeah.
It's basketball wives things.
It is.
It's non-mother effing factor. I forgot about the other ones, but they're so... They're unoriginal.
Yeah. Yeah. No, 100%. 100%. And then we have a fight about dresses, which is bizarre.
Which is that people's dresses are ugly and...
Then we have this ridiculous
Which many dresses were ugly.
That's also fine. I want to say something, but I'm not.
You know what you do then? What do you want to say?
I'm just going to say that that's also Durban.
You know what? I'm just going to stop being gagged by you and your tirade.
I don't know.
I appreciate that.
And if the Durban girls come for me, it's because it hurts.
Okay,
because they know it's true.
Because it's real. You said I'm a reverse psychology.
If you want to cancel me, it's because you know.
Buy tickets to our live show in a few months and come beat her up on stage after having paid an entry fee. But I want to say it would have been nice to get those comments even in a diary.
Yeah.
Like, what does each person think of each person's dress? Yes. That would have been fun. And maybe if you do have that plan, then you don't shoot it all in slow-mo.
Exactly.
Because that would be incongruent.
Losing the
recipes. We're going to make fun of each other's dresses. Let's shoot the dresses. Even when they're pretty, we know what's pretty. Let's shoot them
Don't worry about us.
Don't worry about us.
Don't worry about us.
You know? Or... Like, there were so many opportunities to put sound effects.
Exactly.
When Maria was coming down the steps. You know, let's get a... You know, so that we can tie that
we
up.
can go. Foreshadowing.
Thank you.
Narrative device.
Oh,
Guys, this is still storytelling. Yes, it is reality television.
my email is Ayanda.
Not your email address, Queen. Okay. Anyway, go to our Instagram and you'll find the relevant details. Should you need to call one of us,
Just on some consulting thing.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. But I think that this is actually important to say. That's kind of different to what we were saying. These are still stories that are being consumed, and we know that. You know, for the smarter girls, they think that reality television is the lowest rung of entertainment.
Yes.
It is not,
It's not.
actually. It's really fascinating. It's very much an anthropological study of the societies that we have now
it is.
come to inhabit. Unrealistic in also very many ways.
Yes,
But
yes.
it tells us about like the ways in which we think aspiration, wealth, and all those kinds of things are in yeah. Anyway.
And it tells us who still treats gay men like they're accessories.
Exactly.
Do you know how we can...
It also shows us that Zuma
It's randomly
in Cape Town. I mean, in
needed
Durban.
us to talk about that. I forgot that even happened because there was so much clutter in this episode.
Okay.
What the hell was Duduzane doing?
Okay, sorry. Duduzane Zuma
was 2 episodes
it was
ago,
like
ne?
2 episodes ago, and it was just the most bizarre thing.
It was so weird. And we didn't touch on it.
But a reminder that a lot of South African politics happens in plain sight.
Oh.
And we need to remember that. A lot of South African politics happens in plain
Yes.
sight. Over there in Alovo, in Johannesburg. Over there in Durban. You know, there are streets that we all know that the big players are doing various
Yes.
things.
Yeah.
And it is a very clear indication that money and politics are consistently in relationship with one another in both ethical and unethical ways.
Yeah.
Right? And so it just does something to clarify.
Why is he here?
So when we say, and why is the government not doing anything about it? Tada, go to Nonku's wine tasting and you will find a reason. You will find an answer. You know what I mean?
The fact that no one has touched on these construction tenders, right? Like no one, even if it's, and I know it can be sticky. I know people are getting shot. I know there are real world implications to talking about powerful people in the negative. But we've seen the benefit that these women have is that so many women have come before them.
Yeah.
And like tap danced on that line
Yes.
for this genre.
Yes.
Real Housewives of New York City.
Yes.
When it was Trump time.
Yes. You better.
We were locating everyone's history. Ramona, what's your Trump, association? Sonia, without actually launching an investigation.
Exactly.
Just like, And what
Exactly.
happens? We learn things about our characters as we go. The same way in a movie, what our character does... I'm sorry, this just came to mind. There's no reason. It just happens to be top of mind. When Precious goes to that shop, to that restaurant, asks for a bucket of chicken, and then essentially robs those people of their chicken and runs away with it. Like, that's a moment of levity, but and it probably does nothing beyond just tell us what else she's got, personality-wise.
Yeah.
The same function, right, is being satisfied by going, oh, let's follow that up a little bit. Because then it tells us something about each character and where they fall, and also where they fall in relation to one another.
Yes. Another show that's really instructive, that's worth watching, is Gwamkhize with Shonim Kize.
Yes.
That is just fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
It's fascinating. It's fascinating because it tells us something about sports and money.
Yes.
It tells us about how money...
And the political economy of sports.
The political economy of sports. It tells us things about meritocracy versus money.
Yeah.
It tells us things about late stage capitalism.
Yes.
It tells us things about people that... Girl, take a second.
You know what it tells us.
Take a second.
Yeah.
Watch a reality show.
But where were we driving to? Lujana is randomly there. The things we don't follow up on.
Yes.
Right, the stories.
Yes.
Because now we're at dinner. We haven't foreshadowed anything about the dresses.
Yes.
It's just coming up. We are also people are now... you know what would have helped? It's fine. The conversation has gone to shit. I'm now starting a fight with that person, and there's another cross-diagonal fight.
Yeah.
It's fine. That can happen if we had set it up with everyone's just a touching base on, hey, coming into this dinner, who do you not feel like seeing? Check in with everyone so that we know which lines to follow across the table.
Yes.
I don't know.
Because on my notes, sorry, if
Please.
you're watching on YouTube, you've probably seen me
And
fiddle
Spotify,
with my
we
phone.
we also have
Oh
video
yes,
on
you can see. You
Spotify.
can see us on Spotify too.
Yeah.
You see me fiddle with my phone just because I'm looking through my notes app. And with the Zama and the Sarisha thing, it's because I'd forgotten. But if some producer had just been like, "Hey Fizzy, hey girl,
Yeah.
don't forget
Yeah.
that this is also a point of contention." Because when Zama is like, "I called you on WhatsApp to get my dress," Sarisha is right to
You
go.
just told me to
"You're
get your
crazy-
dress."
You're just a crazy person if you think that's you reaching out.
Yes.
And then also, but I also didn't think that like Sarisha's response was very much like, I thought it was just too much. for
I
what
like
was
the
actually-
response.
I don't know.
Because Zama does do that. Zama did the same thing to avoid accountability. She put Nonku on ice and put Sarisha on ice because they
Yes.
were both like, you did too much.
Yeah.
And because she's not able to think of herself as a small dog.
Yeah.
Right? She was like, nope, I'm not going to take this as guidance, which is something she could learn from Angel. Angel was like, cool, the big dogs are telling me
to move.
you're doing too much because I want to stay on the show. Now we find her in a place where she's now going to be met with the same energy. Oh, you were putting me on ice? I'll put
do the
you
same.
on ice.
Okay, I see that. But I just feel like when she was like, Zama, don't even speak to me. I thought that was weird. I personally thought that was weird. What else?
It was a whole dinner party about people arguing about whatever it's not really about.
Yeah. That's
many
what's
abouts.
happened. It's just tough to like isolate the main issues
Because there wasn't really one.
in that fight.
Even Maria is milking the Angel thing so she can
Yes.
ingratiate herself to Nonku.
This is the point that I want to make.
No, before you make your
Not
point.
Heike.
Because remember, who was Nonku saying it to? I think it was Amy. Because when Amy Nkaba last she checked, Nonku and Zama weren't on good terms.
Yes.
And Amy's
Oh,
like, so now
yes.
you're
Oh, you
good.
guys-
And
you guys are
Nonku's like,
fine?
yeah, I can call her a friend.
She's one of my trusted friends. Yeah.
Let's follow up on that.
Yeah.
Let's make that scene. Let's make that what the scene is about. Oh, now suddenly you're good.
I think Maria is perfectly in her right to not want to accept an apology.
Sure.
I think that's fine.
That's
and
fine.
I thought it was weird that she was being pushed into accepting that apology.
Yeah.
I was like, now you've made a story thing that is not really a thing, that is not her prerogative, such a big thing for the rest of the group, fodder for the group, when it just should be like, a moment
Would have
with
been a
her.
good opportunity to park that conflict because
Exactly.
and then focus on other things.
Exactly.
I hear you.
And what this tells me is that the girls, that the girls and production aren't always clear about
On what the main storyline
stories.
is.
Yeah. And if in fact we're just gonna have a shady episode, then let's have a shady
episode.
Don't then do the thing of like real drama. You know what I'm saying?
And like Nayende hijacking, okay, this one says it's serious. The other one is
Yeah.
like, no, but it's social media fodder. Okay, so what is the position of the of the production company? Are we gonna go it's serious and so treat it that way, or are we gonna go no, it's ridiculous?
And especially because we don't yet. Blair's was actually competent. I thought he was
When?
The person who did the reunion for Real Housewives of Durban.
last year, yeah.
But because we don't have an Andy in South Africa in the
Yes,
franchise,
who's
who
a
is
fixture.
steeped
into
the lives, into the culture, into like what's happening in the world of these women, we don't yet have someone in the room for us as in the reunion to advocate for the kinds of things that we would like to be asked.
Yes.
And in the absence of that, we need good production.
We do.
Yeah.
And that's an industry-wide problem.
Yeah.